Hello everyone, on today's video we're going to talk about burnout and 8 ways you can tell if you're on the verge of becoming burnt out. Hello everyone, we live in a fast-paced, hectic world where a lot of things are asked of us. We've got family commitments, relationship commitments, work commitments, TV blaring at us, telling us to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't know and probably don't like. A lot is going on. So burnout is a real thing, and I see a lot of people, especially who come to me at difficult stages, they're just burnt out. They're incredible people, beautiful souls, but they're burnt out. So I want to talk about some ways to acknowledge and to see when burnout's coming and how to reverse it. So as always, I'm going to start with a quote. And that quote is, "Burnout is nature's way of telling you you've been going through the motions, your soul has departed. You're a zombie, a member of the walking dead, a sleepwalker. False optimism is like administering stimulants to an exhausted nervous system." Sam King. So some key factors in that quote there where he talks about becoming a zombie, part of the walking dead. You know, we can cope. We're very resilient. You know, I have mates who drink like, you know, there's no tomorrow, and somehow they're still lit, they're still alive, walking around. The human body can deal with a lot of stuff. However, it's meant to function at optimal levels so you can be the most beautiful, spiritual, adventurous creature you can. Burnout, though, turns us into zombies. And I don't know if you've looked around recently, but I mean, the dude standing at the cell phone that almost walk into, you know, poles and things like that. It feels like the zombie invasion is here. So fill your bathtub full of water just in case the plumbing stops, because there's a lot of burnt out people there. On the 1 year life journey, you're going to grow, you're going to expand, you're going to take a lot of new stuff. You always need to be mindful of where you are and where your rest reserves are coming in. Personally, for me, I went through a stage where I was definitely burnt out, and I recognise it now, but at the time I didn't know these things, and it caused a lot of challenges for me financially, from relationships, because when you're burnt out, everything's a problem. Getting up to answer the phone's a problem when you're burnt out. You know, everything's a challenge. Exercise, you know, telling someone you love them, you know, takes energy you don't want to do when you're burnt out. So it creates so many problems across your life, and understanding when it's coming, understanding how to deal with it, is going to be a key to you being super optimal at your highest states, at peak performance during this whole 1 year challenge. So I'll start with number one. Number one sign that you're becoming burnt out is you lose your temper at every little thing. That's a key sign. When you start losing your temper at things you wouldn't normally lose your temper at, it's time to recognise that this could be a sign of burnout. And you know, it's like snapping at a loved one. You know, why would you snap at a loved one? When that starts happening regularly, that's a key sign of burnout. 2, you feel like you're always behind schedule. Now, when you're burnt out, the art of presence or being in the moment can almost disappear. And somehow this feeling creeps in that you haven't got everything done, or there's something that needs to be done, or while you're even doing a task, you're thinking about, geez, I haven't even done this yet. And that just wears at you and wears you. That's a mental state that's not normal, and it's a condition that sometimes comes with burnout. Now, the funny thing is, well, I wish it was funny, but the interesting thing is, so many people live their life in the state of feeling like they're always behind schedule because they're always burnt out. They've never recognised that they've been burnt out for 10 years, so they're always running behind schedule when that's simply a mental construct from burnout. You are constantly under tons of mental fatigue. You come home from work, you haven't had any manual labour that day, but you're absolutely tired. How can that be? It's because you're fatigued. Your mind is running and racing. It's at its wit's end. 20% of your energy needs are delivered by your brain, more than any muscle in your body. So ultimately, it's true that it takes up your energy and you start to feel fatigued. And the problem then is that you can't get up and do the exercise you need. You can't, you know, hang out with the people you should be hanging out to make yourself feel better. And it's a cycle. That's why you need to be very mindful of it. Number 4, you feel that you lack control in your own life. You start seeing all these external things playing a bigger role in your life than they really are. That's a key burnout. A key way of knowing that when you're burnt out, when you start saying things like, if this hadn't happened or if this person hadn't done that, everything would be okay. Check yourself on that, because it's a key to knowing whether you're burning out or not. You don't get any joy from the work you do. So we all get a level of joy from doing a good job. Mental burnout is when you're just doing it, and there seems to be no joy from it. Number 6, you don't have any time for your friends and family. You're not answering text messages. You're always making up excuses on why you can't go to your mate's housewarming, or you can't hang out with your friends at the beach, or you can't take the kids down to see the horses. That is coming from burnout. We all have time to do these things. I mean, Beyonce only has 24 hours in a day. I must have saying that quote because I don't even know what it means, but I'm assuming because she gets heaps done. Ultimately, you have time. If you don't have time to make a great life, you might as well, give up, because you do have the time. It's about priorities, but burnout takes it away from you. Number 7, you hardly get sleep. It's the other terrible thing about burnout is that what you need most, which is restful sleep, starts to disappear from your life because you're stressing, you're anxious, and the quality of sleep drops. And quality of sleep is the most important. We have things called circadian rhythms, and we generally sleep on 90-minute, and I set my alarm for 90-minute cycles, because ultimately that deep sleep phase, only about 1/3 of your sleep is the deep restful sleep. Now, quite often when we're stressed and burnt out, we don't get that level of sleep we need. Number 8, your sex drive decreases. Your sex drive, whether masculine or feminine is at the heart of your spirit. That's your bonding, that's your love, that's your want to procreate, that's your want to, really exist in unity with the other sex. That starts to go when you get burnt out. Just like your mental functions start to go, the lack of libido, the drive for love, as that starts to disappear, that's a key signal that you're becoming burnt out. Now, sexless relationships are no fun. I mean, ultimately, sex is not the only thing in a relationship, but it's important, and it's what defines it as a difference between a friendship and a romantic partnership. Sex helps bond, it increases levels of oxytocin, helps you fight less, you become more in union with your other partner. When that stops and you're burnt out, fights become much bigger issues and a lot of other problems start to creep in. So what can you do to get back on track? Now, you've noticed these signs in your life, and maybe some of them have resonated with you as I've spoken today. What can you do? Now, you can do a few things. You can recognize these things and take a break. And ultimately, a break can simply be, one, if you're at work, mindful breathing, just noticing the breath. That stops your brain, because your brain's funny, right? It's telling you that, writing that email is the most important thing in the world, most important thing in the world, most important thing in the world. So you take a couple of breaths and you leave that thought. The thought doesn't come back. Now, if it's the most important thing in the world, your brain should have, got through those few breaths and hit you again. So conscious breaths at work. Morning meditation or nightly meditation, whatever your schedule is, or daily, during the day, meditation will just bring back your batteries. In fact, I think Steve Jobs said that meditating was like plugging his iPhone into the wall during the middle of the day, where you got an extra 6 or 7 hours out of it, and that's how he felt about meditation. You can also plan breaks. Now, sitting down and knowing that you have a holiday coming up can be awesome. It can really make you feel that everything's worthwhile. I would suggest that don't do that too often, because I see all these people with these countdown timers, they're going to Bali or Hawaii or these exotic destinations, and I think, well, what you're really doing is you're sacrificing, it says 3 weeks on your countdown going to Bali, but you're probably sacrificing 3 weeks of happiness, because all you can think about is that trip. So don't get too caught up in that, but we all need time, and time in nature. When you go out, and especially if you live in a big city, try to choose destinations, especially for holidays, that have natural, beaches and forests and things like that. Nature recharges your energy. When I go to the beach, and I do this daily, I feel like the waves are just giving me the kinetic energy that they're delivering, and I just feel $1,000,000 when I come and do these videos for you. So I'm loving our relationship. I think it's incredible. I really want you to know that burnout is normal. I don't want you to do what I did and get burnt out and get to that stage. Maybe some of you already are, but I want you to recognize it, because as we grow together and build this community and really start revolutionizing the world through our thought patterns, we've got to be careful that we maintain equilibrium and we don't burn out. Because we've been doing this for a little while now, and I really appreciate your energy. So monitor your burnout levels. You have heaps of videos on how to maintain that energy, but I can't wait to see you tomorrow for the next installment of the 1 Year Life Challenge. Thank you and goodbye.